exercise increases your stress hormones. It increases your inflammation in the body. Higher, harder, stronger is not always better.
What are some of the patterns that you see in midlife women who are stuck in their fitness?
I feel that they don't often know that their cycle doesn't work anymore. It's become so habitual. At least I'm doing something. It's comfortable to know that you go in and you do these 5 exercises or half an hour workouts, whatever it is, and you know the routine, that sometimes they don't know that something needs to shift, and they keep wondering why nothing ever changes.
Today on the Daily Surrender, I'm welcoming a woman whose work beautifully intersects strength, steadiness, and self-trust in midlife. I'm joined by Heike Yates, a midlife fitness expert, author and creator of the Spark Framework, which she's going to explain to us today on the podcast, a model that blends mindset, movement, nutrition, and sustainable habits for women who feel fine on the outside, but are quietly disconnected or a little bit uncertain within. She's an author of an amazing book called Pursue Your Spark. And Heike comes to us with over 35 years of wisdom in the health and fitness space. She's a certified Pilates instructor, a nutrition coach, an Ironman triathlete, and she's bringing all of that, the endurance, the recalibration from her own experience through midlife and all the years of working with other people to help support them through their fitness. And she's going to bring that into our conversation today. And what I really appreciate most about her approach is that it's not about chasing perfection or extreme reinvention of ourselves. It's about rebuilding strength and clarity in a way that really fits this really special season of life. She is, again, an author of the book Pursue Your Spark and a host of Pursue Your Spark podcasts, where she's inviting women to stop dimming their light, move out of survival mode and into steadiness, confidence, and connection. I have no doubt the Heike is going to resonate with you the way she resonates with me. When I am listening to Heike, I feel so relaxed and so calm. I feel inspired. I feel energized and excited to pursue my own spark in so many different ways. So without further ado, I am welcoming Heike to the podcast. Heike, welcome to the podcast.
Oh, Jen, I'm so excited to be here with you today. It's been a while.
Yeah, this is wonderful. This is such a gift to have you share your wisdom with our audience here today. And you work beautifully with women in midlife and really focus on fitness and midlife fitness for women. And I know, being a woman in midlife, that what we do in midlife is very different than what we do in our younger years. And there's an opportunity for us to really self-reflect a lot as we're looking at how we're supporting our body, moving our body, and loving our body. And I know that you work with a lot of women who feel like fine on the outside, but inside there's this quiet uncertainty going on inside of them. And what do you see in women that is driving that uncertainty? And what does that look like for a woman in midlife and the women that you work with?
You know, I feel that this uncertainty is happening, and I relate this back to me, and I feel other women may feel the same way, that we have that uncertainty every 10 years. I feel that every 10 years, something has to shift. From when you mentioned your hard workouts, the schedule, the must-do, I basically did the same in my 30s and early 40s or mid-40s, that there was a schedule. We have to stick to the schedule. Rain, shine, it does not matter. No sleep. We had to show up and push through no matter what. And as I got older, and I will be 65 this year, I feel that every 10 years when I look back and when I wrote my book, I said, at 30, something had to change. At 40, something had to change. And for me, and I want to clarify that to me, midlife is not just being 50. Midlife starts for me at 40.
Agree.
And also our perimenopausal time. And then going up to 80.
Yeah.
And maybe even beyond. At this point, I set myself the boundary of 80 because after 80, there are more therapeutic needs that women have and that we need to be more aware of as we get older. But I feel that from that big chunk of midlife, there is this, what you said is softening. We have to really rethink what is best for our bodies and not what we think is best from the fitness industry, what it teaches us, or from our favorite Instagrammer.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. I would like you to share a little bit more about that because I am 50 and I've always been very physically active. I started working out at a very, very young age because I would work out with my father, who's an ex-Marine, and he is extremely fastidious with his fitness. And even to this day, at almost 80 years old, he works out every other day. So for me, it was time that I could spend with my dad bonding, and he would teach me how to work out like a man. Right. And in my early 20s, I began battling with body dysmorphia and I worked out a lot. I was a group fitness instructor. I taught kickboxing and I would teach my classes. This is alongside of my teaching career. And then it wouldn't be enough. I would have to then do my own workout. So very early on, I developed some unhealthy habits and a relationship with my body and worked through all of that. But in my 30s, I still was using exercise as a way to control. And it worked until it didn't work. And when I crossed over into, as you just said, the perimenopausal years, which is really the beginning of midlife, my body started to break down. I did a lot of CrossFit, things like half marathons. I was a runner, Tough Mudder, things like that. And it just wasn't working for me anymore. And I had to learn how to soften. And I find it very fascinating what you're saying in every 10 years reassessing. So here I am at 50 and it's like a moving target. And I look out at a lot of these midlife influencers, right? And you just mentioned on Instagram. So we'll see them on Instagram or we'll see them on YouTube and their bodies are ripped in your 50s and in your 60s. And you want to do a 6-day full body split. And I tried it. I bought some of the programs. I bought some of these midlife programs and I couldn't do it. It was just too much for a whole variety of reasons, and it doesn't feel right to me. So I want to hear from your experience, being a woman who has even more wisdom and experience, 15 years older than me. What are you noticing? And, what are some of the challenges that us women in midlife face?
What you just said, we have so much in common. I used to do exactly the same thing with Tough Mudders, became a bodybuilder, ran marathons. That wasn't enough, so I became an ultra marathon runner.
Oh, my goodness. You went all the way.
50 miles. My next goal was 100, but then my knee was not so happy. So I said,
the knee. Yes, I have the knee too.
And so what did I do? Oh, let's do triathlons. Let's learn how to swim. So I became an Ironman triathlete. And that just became, it just added on, it added on, it added on. And I was like, it was never enough. And there was always the medal, the podium. Will I be in my age group, at least on the podium? It was that pressure that I put myself under, not really realizing it, but it was like, oh, look at me. Look what I can do. I'm 50. I'm a bodybuilder with 40. Look at me. But people don't see how much work, sacrifice, and time that takes, and time away from the people you love when you pursue something that hard. And I feel as we get older, we appreciate and cherish more our families, our friendships, our connections with other people. And except for one of my friends, nobody else does any of that stuff. Nobody.
No. I mean, I agree with you. I don't have those friends anymore. I had them when I was younger, right? We would find our people, the people that we would train with, and they would, there was such camaraderie with it. But then people have lives and you've got to get on with your life. And the amount of time that you went all out. my body said no before I could go to the arenas that you went to. But when I look back at the enormous amount of time that I invested in my physical fitness and why did I do it? And I know for me, some of it was I was running from my life and I was avoiding certain things. And there was a lot of performance pressure that I put on myself. And if the exterior could look a certain way, well, then my interior would be okay. I've come to learn that's not true. But yeah. So why? And we don't want to. And that's really where I am right now in this season of my life. Like for instance, today, I had some things on my schedule and I did work out, but I chose to do a 25-minute workout. It was an upper body and I went for a walk and that was it. And I'm okay with that. Like that's today, that feels really good. But old me, that would never have been okay. And I can't keep up with some of these women in midlife who are in the fitness industry, again, saying you can keep your body really physically fit and metabolically healthy if you do something like, say, a six-day full body split. And last year I went all in for a few months and I burnt out because that was almost 2 hours of my day. And that's not doing something enjoyable and connective like walking.
Yeah. And when you talk about, you were a lifelong athlete, I was never an athlete. I was an obese teenager. I was fat, overweight, and was because of what I look like on the outside, I was neglected. I didn't have friends. Nobody invited me. I had no people to hang out with like you do in your teenage years because I was the fat one. And over the years, I mean, this always kept following me when I think about with childbirth. I have two kids. You gain weight, you try to lose weight. And if you don't know any of that stuff, you have no clue what you're doing next. So the next best thing is crazy diets. The next best thing is working out till you puke. The next thing is, this never works and it never stays and it never lasts. And you keep pushing forward. And when I got into fitness, I finally understood there are different ways to do things, even through the intense times. Like when I was a bodybuilder, I hired myself a bodybuilding coach, somebody who knew what he was doing. And when I was done, after 3 years, I was done. Like emotionally and physically, I do not want to put myself through the ringer like I have been. But I learned. And so each phase, as I got older, my group of women aged with me. So now at almost 65, my women that are in my age, they come for Pilates. They come for 20-minute workouts. They come for the community and the conversation. They come for bonding and really connecting with themselves. And I find that with Pilates, it's such an amazing way to connect with your body and your mind through breath work. I used to teach yoga as well, but Pilates just spoke to me. And I said, it's simple to do. You don't need machines and you breathe and you feel better. You align your body. And I feel that as you get older and we have bum knees and then we get bum shoulders and then we have arthritis and all this stuff, Pilates and strength training addresses all these age-related issues to be kinder, to be softer, and do something with less impact.
So I'm going to ask you a question because some of the messaging out there for us women in midlife tells us that Pilates, for instance, is not enough. We need to be doing weight-bearing exercises regularly for our bone density and for our metabolic health. And we lose muscle as we age, as our hormones are declining, and estrogen starts declining in our perimenopausal years, and then obviously continues on throughout menopause. And there's nothing wrong with that. That's a part of our natural growth and evolution and cycles as women. But as we're losing our muscle mass and it's affecting our blood sugar, the messaging to us is that we need to be countering that with weight training. And so is something like Pilates enough? And I still battle some of this because I love yoga and really leaned in more to my yoga practice recently because of the reasons you're saying right there. the socialization, getting out of my home, being with other people. There's just so beautiful for me. It's a mind-body connection. I feel very calm. I feel very restored. But there are times where I leave there and I have a busy day and I don't have time to go weight train on top of it. And then I feel guilty, like I'm not properly supporting my body. So what's the truth that you see in that?
The way I see this,
Yeah.
for after 40 years of coaching people, is number one, Pilates is not strength training, strictly speaking. Pilates is a form of exercise that strengthens the muscles, lengthens the spine, and as in, like, think osteoporosis or things like that, osteopenia, but also posture, like a lack of the strength of the multifidi, the small muscles along the spine. It has shown in research to strengthen the spine. It does not strengthen the hip, which is when we're looking into more impact type exercises to increase the bone density in the hip, which walking is perfect for that. To use as an example, would I say you ideally add strength training, whether it's bands or weights, to your workouts? Absolutely. Number one, it breaks the boredom. Number two, I do not want to see somebody 7 days in a Pilates class. As fun as it is, do something different. I'm a huge believer in cross training. Walk, stretch, balance work, mobility work, strength training, all of that has to be addressed. And Pilates addresses a big part of it. But if you're really looking into muscle building, this is not what we will get in Pilates. Since it is not sets and reps, it's simple. Do 5 of this, do 8 of this, next exercise. And even though the springs, if you work on a piece of equipment, may be very strong, it is not the same. Have I seen amazing benefits to women, especially my age and older? Perfect, because it's low impact. But they still do some weights with me in the Pilates realm as well. And I'm like, go walking. You need bone density in the hips and stress fractures, falling. We're looking at all of this. So I definitely say yes, add weights or bands if you don't like weights.
Okay. I like that. And that honestly is what feels really, really good to me in my life. I crave variety, not just because my body needs variety. My mind needs variety. I need variety. It's stimulating to me. I get bored very easily. And anytime that I'm bored, because midlife, we just do not tolerate anything that doesn't feel good to us anymore, right? So if I'm bored with my exercise program, I'm not going to be all in on it. So I appreciate what you're saying there. And strengthening the spine is really important as we age too.
Yep, absolutely. Because when you look at postures and you can see them every day when you're outside walking, how hunched people are from sitting at their desks or just from aging. You know, we assume that we all stand straight like a rod when we get older if we just keep working on it. And sometimes our mind has a different idea. And I have a client that I'm one-on-one working with, and he just turned 100 last week.
Oh my goodness.
So he comes once a week to Pilates.
Yeah.
And he is very stooped. So he has kyphosis. And he started coming to me when he was, let's see, in 1978, his wife said. So it's been a while. And he used to be able, after our session, stand up straight, could hold it for a long time. Now he stays stooped. His brain does not recognize anymore that this is where he needs to be for the most part. But he still comes. And it's really funny because when I give him different exercise, and we do weights, we do Pilates, we do all these kind of things as best as we can. When I give him a weight that's too light, he says, easy. Just that, easy.
Oh, bless him.
So I'm like, okay, I'll give you something more.
Yes. Oh, I love it. I love it. So what are some of the patterns that you most often see in midlife women who are stuck in their fitness, trying to quit old cycles that don't work for them anymore?
I feel that they don't often know that their cycle doesn't work anymore. It's becomes so habitual. Yeah. At least I'm doing something. Okay, I don't know what else I could do because I haven't really thought about it. Maybe I don't want to think about it because it's comfortable to be stuck in a routine. it's comfortable to know that you go in and you do these 5 exercises or half an hour workouts, whatever it is. And you know the routine, you know how many dumbbells you lift, how heavy they are, or whatever the workout is. That sometimes they don't know that something needs to shift. And they keep wondering why nothing ever changes.
Mm. So you're helping them unstuck themselves by becoming more aware of what their body is asking them for more of or less of.
Yep. That's part of it. And I'm saying, we've been doing this for I usually give them homework if they're willing to do homework.
Mm-hmm.
And then when they do their homework, then I can build on whatever they've worked on. And some people don't want to change. They're like, oh yeah, I got this. Or I don't want to do anything more difficult because I can't do the new thing. I want to do the old exercise because I can do this one.
Yes.
And I always say growth happens. There has to be a little discomfort. There has to be a little bit of growth pain,
Yes.
whether it's mentally or physically.
Yes.
And I say, if I give you the same thing because you can do it and you say, oh, look at me, what I can do.
Mm-hmm.
It's not helping you grow. It's not helping you change and break through old patterns.
Mm-hmm. Yes, yes, absolutely. I use a phrase with my clients called riding your growth edge. So you need to find your growth edge. And as you just said, there's many different areas of our life, mind, body, spirit, that we can find an edge. But it's really important for us to find that edge so that we're a little bit outside of our comfort zone. And the nervous system is going to be uncomfortable with us being outside of our comfort zone. But if we can remind ourselves that we're safe and play that edge. So playing that edge physically. I've seen in clients, because I've been working as a coach, and in the years that I was really heavily working as a functional medicine coach, I would have women coming to me, usually around early stages of midlife, who were so stuck in their exercise habitual cycles, like you're talking about, like spin classes, for instance, crossfitting, running, all the things you and I were both doing as we slammed into midlife too. And they would come and they were so inflamed because those exercises weren't working for them anymore. And it was creating a catabolic breakdown that wasn't supportive of their overall health. So there were gut issues, autoimmune issues, sleep issues, adrenal issues, all the things. And I was because of my own history with body dysmorphia, exercise addiction, I've always been very mindful that we can't just tell someone, you know what, that's not serving you anymore. Stop the spin class, when the spin class has been their adrenaline hit for the last 15 years, even though it's not serving them. So helping them break that rut was a very big part of the, earlier stage of their healing. So women like you who are out there really focusing on helping women to identify what their bodies are asking them for more of and less of are so needed, because there's a whole menu of different things. We just get so stuck in what we know and what we feel confident in doing, right?
Mm-hmm, absolutely. And that comfort zone that keeps us cozy, and everything is great when we're cozy. And you addressed a very important part, because everybody thinks I should be doing harder things. I should be doing more of this. But people don't recognize that exercise increases your stress hormones. It increases your inflammation in the body. And most women either don't recognize this or they never heard of it. So I'm glad that you brought this up, because higher, harder, stronger is not always better.
No, it is not. I mean, I've had many clients over the years who were shocked when on the other side of creating transformation and stopping what they knew, like, for instance, daily spin classes, how much better they felt and that they lost weight. So they would lose weight by doing less, more intentional, but even walking. For me, I had hired a coach myself many years ago when I was in the early stages of my body screaming at me, and I knew I needed to change, but that was not easy, because there was an identity that I had in being that person that could run 12 miles. And so as my knee was screaming at me and my gut was not happy with me, I had to learn how to embrace walking. And it was very hard for me. And she continued to remind me that I am safe and I am okay, to learn how to let go. And I remember after I really got in a good groove with walking, I started to lose weight. because one of the reasons why I knew I needed to make a change was because my body was so inflamed and I was actually gaining weight. And it didn't make sense to me why I was gaining weight, because I was so, up until that time, focused on the input output. Like, how could I gain weight when I just burned, 1,500 calories? That doesn't make sense. And yet the body was not responding because it was in an inflammatory state. So do you see that with women too?
Yeah. Many say, but I'm doing everything right.
Mm-hmm.
Well, what does it actually mean I'm doing everything right? Based on what age, what phase in life are you in?
Mm-hmm.
What everything right? I don't know what that means. It is really thinking back to what do you really need. And I find, with your example, you hired a coach. I had to stop running 3 years ago or get a full knee replacement. And I wasn't ready for that. So I decided that with Pilates, strength training, stretching, and everything that I know with some medical help on the side, I can keep this knee going for a whole bunch of years. And I did, but the transition from being the runner, being part of the running group here in Montgomery County, I had lost my identity as a runner.
Yes. That's big.
I was grieving for an entire year. I was like, well, who am I? I'm not a runner anymore.
Yeah. Oh, and it is an identity, and it's a whole club, and it's a fun club. Yeah. I love how you just shared with us that there's grief there, and it's okay to have grief when we're changing. And there's also so much more available for us.
Absolutely.
So what do you define as strength in midlife for women? What does strength even mean?
Yeah, what does it look like?
What does it even look like? Yeah.
What does strength look like? Mm-hmm. To me, strength looks like to do the things that you want to do as you get older. Simple terms. Can I get up and down to the bathroom? Can I do my 18 squats? And there's a chart out there where you can measure based on your age group how many up and downs. Basically, for the listener, you sit in a chair and you stand back up within a minute. Yeah. And at my age, I should be doing at least, no, not should. I shouldn't say should because I don't like should. We must do 18 ups and downs within a minute. And when I started this, I couldn't do them.
Really? Okay.
I could not. I said, wow.
I'm going to try this after our recording here.
1 minute. So it's down, up on the chair for the listener. So nothing complicated. And if you Google, you can probably find, depending on your age group, how many ideally you can do. But can I garden? Can I play with the grandkids? Can I go hiking? I love to travel. Hiking is a big part, carrying a backpack. That kind of strength. Is it the strength that I go on longer trips? That I'm away and I can last for a 3-4 week trip going out and about? Or do I run out of energy because I haven't trained my heart? Heart health to me goes also hand in hand with strength as well. But the everyday activities, that does not mean for anybody listening that is more athletic than other people that you shouldn't be a triathlete. Well, what I've decided for myself to say, well, I can't run, but what I can do to preserve my knee, what I can do is I can shorten what I'm doing. So instead of doing a long, long race, I just swim half a mile, I bike 20 miles, and I can walk 6 miles or 5 miles, how many ever it is. I can do that, and I can still be athletic, but looking at what can you do at that age? And we all age differently as well. So please don't look at the other 50-year-old on the interwebs that is cut and lean and does 10 pull-ups and 60 burpees or whatever people do. That has to be you. It could be you. Yeah. But it doesn't have to be. And the majority from my experience is not like that.
I appreciate that so much. And our focus changes. And you just highlighted a whole lot of things that we don't think about when we're 30 years old. We don't think about running after the grandkids and are we able to travel and hike? I was thinking about this earlier. I took a bath this morning and we got a new bathtub about 6 months ago, and it's really deep and it's become such a gift for me and it's a sanctuary, but I have to push myself up to get out of it. And the thought went through my head, okay, I can do this at 50 and it's still a little challenging. Will I be able to do this at 70, at 80, at 90? I want to be able to do this. And then I thought, I'm excited to get on this podcast today so that I could hear more about what can we be doing so that we're able to enjoy life. We want to live life. I want to garden. I want to be active. I want to be able to experience this world and this life. So for me, my focus is shifting away from strength simply as being a physical appearance, actually, to living life. I want to live my life and live it well.
Yep. So strength becomes something totally different as we're aging, and it's no longer measured by the races we do, by the pounds we can lift by, but the things we can still accomplish. And we all get older and it gets harder. We are slower. We're losing muscle mass starting age 30, but it is just normal. And so don't expect that you will be banging it through like I just saw it yesterday, 92 ran her first marathon.
Yeah.
Dear God,
Yeah.
I'm telling this lady, are you sure you want to do this?
Yes. Yes. I mean, those are the outliers, right? There's with the Olympics going on, there's I'm sure you saw the skater who came back at 42 and hadn't skated since she was 17 years old. And that's amazing. It's an amazing story, but she's an outlier.
And these are people that have done it since they were 17, maybe have taken a break. And they have the innate body movement. They know how that feels. They've trained to be that way, or gymnasts as well. Their bodies is developed in a different way than yours. And not everybody is flexible enough. Even in my bestest, strongest bodybuilding days, I could do 3 pull-ups without assist. 3.
Same.
And I was like, I got his muscle mass, but I can't get my butt ski up. That's ridiculous. But it just is body leverage. I always say longer arms, shorter torso, longer legs, whatever is going on with bodies that affects what we can expect to do as we get older.
Absolutely. And that's really where leaning into kindness, being kind to ourselves and meeting ourselves where we're at and not comparing ourselves to other people comes in. Yeah. On this podcast, as you know, it's called The Daily Surrender. So we talk a lot about surrender, and surrender not as a collapse or a giving in or a giving up, but more of alignment. And in your lived experience, which you've had a lot of lived experience, what does alignment feel like in your body?
Your alignment, again, it changes for everybody, but I feel as a general rule, align it with the goals that you have now. Every 10 years, what is the new goal that you might have? Align it with what you're doing, what you're thinking, who you surround yourself with. I can tell you the friends in my 30s, I don't know any of those people anymore. They were not on my path of where I was going. And so align yourself with also what you feel. We're shying away to really get in touch with our why, with what's going on. And I call this in my book, the S is, in the spark is for scan. Scan what's going on. Is what you're doing, is the job you're doing aligned with what you want now? Or is it absolutely something you don't want to do or hate? Is it the people, are they aligning with what your goals and dreams are now? Are the activities and the foods you eat aligned with your future self? What does your future self want to be? And it doesn't have to be that far off in the future. It could be just like next year. What does next year look like for you? Where do you want to cut corners or let go of things that no longer serve you? What do you want, not somebody else?
Yes. Oh, that's so beautiful. That's really, really beautiful. So speaking of your spark method, can you walk us through that? You just walked us through the S. Can
The
you tell
S.
us a little bit more?
So
Obviously, our listeners
here's
can
the
get
S.
the
There you go.
book. Get the book. The spark.
Bright orange.
I
Bright
love
orange. The spark is an easy to remember framework, and you can keep repurposing it. It's not a going back to redo, but it's a path to say, what do I want? Where am I now? You have the S where you scan. You figure out, what is it that I want now? Where do I want to go? Where do I see myself living, breathing, with my family, without my family? Which, my age, I'm looking at, where would I want to retire? So we're looking at different countries where we might want to retire. So that's a scanning part. It could be as simple as, I always wanted to start knitting. That's also, something, discovering. And we call it in our world with the why. And I find that my people always roll their eyes when I ask about their why. They're like, the why again. I don't know. But when I say scan, just check out. Just when you do Pilates, I ask you to scan your body. I have certain markers. And then once you scan, you take action. You scanned and you need something to put everything into action. Let's say you want to start knitting. Let's use knitting. Why not? You want to start knitting. So you said, oh, great. I want to start knitting. I want to knit this pullover, but I have no idea how to do this. So now you take action and say, where can I learn how to knit a pullover? Where do I get patterns? Where do I get wool? Can I take a class somewhere? And then you go, okay, I got all this together. And now I'm taking action on the things that I've gathered, on my wishes, my dreams, and realization of what is next. And then you take action. And then you start your knitting project and you realize, which would be your roadblock, the wool is really itchy. You go, oh my God, what did I buy? Now you have choices. You can either abort mission and let all of this go, or you could go back to your scanning part and your action part to say, maybe I still want the pullover, but I need a different wool. Let's find out from somebody who knows wool, what kind of wool is not itchy. You repurchase the wool. Then you get back into action and you start your knitting. And this is when you then, after you overcame the itchy roadblock, you then kick butt or you continue momentum. So you're keeping momentum with that. Now, at any point in the framework, I found that women somehow get stalled, stuck. There's the in-between. I want the pullover, but do I want to put all this work in the pullover? How long will it take me to do this thing? And will it fit? And there's all these doubts and things that stop us, that keep us stuck in our gaps, in our in-between phases. But you can go back and say, well, why don't I start with a scarf? The pullover is way too much. All right, backtrack. And then go down the spark again and say, do I have this? Do I need this? Okay, I'm stuck here. Oh, okay, now I got it. I find it gives women the freedom to be themselves without feeling guilty or fear of somebody judging them for not succeeding with the pullover in this case, but to say, oh, I experimented with this. I'm curious. My curiosity led me to now the scarf instead of the pullover.
Mm-hmm. And perhaps now that you've accomplished the scarf, that gives you the confidence that you can loop back and then try the pullover.
Try the pullover. And insert, please, listeners, insert anything that you want for that. It could be running. It could be cooking a meal. It could be reading books. It could be anything.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And midlife is a time where women really do start to take inventory of what do they want to be doing with their time, with their life? Are there things that they've never tried that they are longing to try? You know, they're investigating, they're getting to know who they are. And your spark method is brilliant. Do you find that there's one particular part of the spark that women resist the most?
The scanning.
Scanning. Okay.
Scanning.
Why do you think that is?
Because it's like, oh, I'm scanning, la-di-la-di-la. I don't have to make a commitment, and I don't nail anything down. If I could keep scanning long enough, maybe my desire will disappear, and I don't have to start something new.
Because that's scary, because change like is a little jarring for the nervous system.
Yep. And all the other parts, once they get going, it's like, yeah, even the roadblocks are not so bad. But it's the scanning process, is let's be honest with yourself. What do you want? What do you really want? And then just speak up about it. Say what you want. Don't dim your light and say nothing about it and secretly hope the wish goes away, or you spread yourself thin with so many ideas that you have that you don't even know where to start, or you have no idea what you want to do.
Yeah.
You may sit there and you go, hey, Heike, I have no idea. What do you do? So really go within and find deep down what it might be that you want to do.
Yeah. And that's a big part of the process. And it's an important part of the process. And it's exciting, even though it can feel really scary. So you shared with me that you were in a season yourself of loosening your grip on how things should look. And earlier in the podcast, you said, I don't like shoulds. I'm not going to use that word. So you caught yourself. I'm very much catching myself doing the same thing. So especially as roles are shifting, what has that required of you, emotionally, as you're loosening your grip, you're learning even more how to go with the flow, have some evolving roles in your life.
Don't be so hard on myself.
Mm.
Back in the days when we both were banging out the workouts, we were hard on ourselves to get it in, get it done. And I'm thinking, you really should be doing more of this. And I'm like, no, I don't. It's not lighting me up. Like today I said, what do I want to do? So I started my Pilates Cadillac workout. I was like, I'm going on a plane later tonight. I need to stretch. I need to feel good before I sit for a long time. And I did something that was good for me, but it's not saying, okay, let's do some, because tomorrow I will not have time to exercise. I might be adding my weights now so I don't miss out on tomorrow. It's like, no, don't be hard on yourself. You'll be fine.
And that's part of the softening. And that's also you reflecting back to you that you can trust yourself.
Very
that you can trust yourself without that inner harsh critic saying, you should be doing this, because what? It's kinder, being a lot kinder to yourself.
And who's the judge of all of this? We are.
We are.
And why do we judge ourselves so harshly for something that is good for our bodies? And nobody said if you miss a workout or two that your body's going to fall apart and you will be unhealthy.
Yeah.
Which is not true.
No, it isn't true. It isn't. We're embodying a healthy way of being because our bodies are the vessel. And so when we can get into that mindset of embodiment, and I take care of my vessel because I love myself and I want to show up as my best self and I want to serve from my best and highest self, then that's a way of being. So if we are going on an airplane and won't have time to have a workout, that's okay. We're not going to fall apart. Those earlier years where we were programmed in more masculine environments like CrossFit environments and bodybuilding competitive environments, that programming might still be there and it will show up for us. Right? Like bubble up, and we get to choose whether we're going to listen and feed it or say, no, I'm just going to let that thought float on by because it's not kind, it's not soft, it's not in alignment with who I am. And I can see how that also loops back to your spark, because the scanning, it's important for us to take inventory of our life in all areas and know, where do we want to go? Who do we want to become? So if we want to become a woman who is more embodied and loves herself and trusts herself, and she travels, which means that there's diversity in her schedule, and so there needs to be more fluidity and flow there, then that woman isn't the woman who's in the strict bodybuilding schedule, shoulds, have-tos, weigh your food, all the things.
I mean, I made sure that my hotel destination had a gym.
Of course, but that's part of your embodiment of a healthy life.
Just in case.
Yes. You have the option, right? Where are you going?
Germany.
Germany. Oh my goodness. So you also might have the option to just spend a lot of your time exploring and walking and hiking, right?
Yep.
Oh my goodness. Oh, well. Well, as we wrap up this episode, because I know you have a hard stop to get ready for this big trip to Germany, what is one small shift that a woman could make this week to move from pressure into steadiness?
Go quiet.
Mm.
Go look within. Really turn all your electronics off. Find a quiet corner. Sit and breathe and just let everything fall away. And observe how it can fall away of what is going on. Don't make plans. Don't say, I have to do this now and make lists and all this stuff. Just be.
I love that so much that you actually answered my next question, because that is the answer to, for me, from you, on what daily surrender even looks like. And yeah,
Just be.
Being,
be with
just being.
yourself, be with your thoughts. And we just recently had the monks travel walk from Texas up to Washington, D.C. I don't know if you followed their journey.
Oh my goodness.
It was 2,300 miles that they walked on foot. And I think it took them 2 months, maybe. I'm not quite sure, because I kept following them on Instagram. And just I didn't get to see them in person, but just the video footage, the calmness and the quiet and the humility, walking in the snowstorms, not giving up, but also not pushing hard. There's a trajectory. They were quiet, they were calm, they were measured. There was so much peace around them. And I think you can visualize this too, sitting in somewhere, wherever your favorite nook is, looking up the window and just be.
Yeah, just be. I love that so much. I am so grateful for you sharing your beautiful wisdom with us here on the podcast. I know you have an amazing book, so we'll link the book here in the show notes. But where else can people find you and follow you?
Just Google my name, Heike Yates, Heikeyates. You can literally find me on all social medias. I'm pretty much everywhere. And you can buy my book on all major book platforms, anywhere from Amazon to Barnes & Noble. Just Google Pursue Your Spark, and you will have options where to buy it, or on my website.
Amazing. I'm going to link all of it below in the show notes for listeners too. I really, really appreciate you. Have an amazing vacation and trip to Germany.
Thank you.
I know you'll be applying all of the principles that you embody and that you teach to others.
Thank you. Thanks for having me, Jennifer.
You're so welcome. I really appreciate you. Take care.
Thanks. Bye.
Thank you for joining me on the Daily Surrender. If today's episode spoke to you, I'd love to hear your reflections. Send me a message, share this with a friend, or leave a review. Remember, true healing and freedom come when we let go, surrender, and trust that God's way is so much better than our way. Until next time, my friends, keep surrendering, keep rising, and keep walking in peace.